Well, after extensive negotiations and several peace talks, Ethiopian officials and Tigray forces have agreed to permanently end hostilities. The agreement signed in South Africa will see the groups withdraw arms and end an almost a 2-year conflict, which has left thousands of civilians dead, some displaced and others left with the harshest of living conditions. But what task lies ahead following this agreement, and what are the next steps on the ground? Senior Researcher Fellow at the Institute of Pan-African Thought and Conversation at the University of Johannesburg, Dr. Seife Tadelle, joins us now to discuss this. Dr. Kidane, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us on Newzroom Africa. You know, we have this peace deal that's in place. We have the Tigray People's Liberation Movement promising to lay down arms. We have the Ethiopian government promising to send essential services up to the northern region. But do you think that this plan will hold? I mean, what do you make of the deal that was struck?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. And thank you for having me. Let's put it in perspective. I mean, there are several things which we have to see. You know, whether it will remain the deal to continue as it is, or there is some glitch somewhere somehow. So we have to have some sort of the discussions still ongoing on both sides. The supporters from the TPLF and so on. So as you know, we have to discuss a bit about its background. There was multiple variables contribute to this emergency conflict, for the last 2 years. So we have to discuss, the terms of geopolitics, water politics, ethnic and tribalism, ideological confusion and constitutional void. At the same time, oligarchism, illicit financial flow, and the power dynamics. I think these are some of the variables which causes this conflict. And we have to wait and see what's coming out of this peace deal. As to me, the government will respect at any cost this deal. It's a great relief, for Ethiopian people. At the same time, for Tigrayan region and the people who are living out there. But we shouldn't forget that this ethnic dynamics, it might trigger another cycle of conflicts. But let's be optimistic to have peace to happen in that part of the world. Yeah.
Also, the other issue is that the deal itself tackles hostilities more than anything else. So we're seeing a ceasefire, we're seeing an end to the actual hostilities that we've been seeing on the ground. You're raising issues around ethnic diversity and how that even culminated with the conflict in the first place. But we also have on both sides accusations of war crimes, crimes against humanity. There's obviously investigations going on into those allegations. Could those potentially also, spark a flame that could once again sort of rouse this conflict if that process in and of itself is unjust and is unable to find those responsible for the war crimes on either side?
Look, everybody will look, the justice happening in that part of the country or Ethiopia as a whole. But unfortunately, all the parties, if you put that kind of precondition, it will be more complicated. So one of the things, the negotiators struck the deal just to avoid, the accountability side of it, and that's why people are very much angry. And there is still some pocket of resistance. And the other thing is from the rebel group side. What we have seen is a continuous, demonstration in USA, not to abide by the agreement, and there are still some sort of unclear, messages from here and there. What I have seen is, I try just to follow up from the government media. They are abided by the the agreement which they made in Pretoria. So that is critical, which we have to bear in mind. But as you well know, identity politics is very primordial in nature, aggressive in character, and irrational in its organization. So you never know, it might, reverse the whole effort. And the other things which people they have to consider and bear in mind is there are other rebel groups like Oromo Liberation Front and what they call them, the Shanists. Still, they are out there. So, in my opinion, they have to be also part and parcel of this negotiation. But unfortunately, they are not. But one last thing which you mentioned about the accountability, what do you call it? The agreement. It's both sides are immune, or apologize. I don't know how you present it. So that is what it is, and we have to move forward as it is with the peace deal. Yeah.
This is very true. We have to move forward. This peace deal seemingly being the all-important, crucial first step to moving forward. But what's next after the peace deal? I mean, you've mentioned the issues around ethnicity, the power of identity politics, and how it can often be used in times of conflict to keep the conflict going for several years. So what's next in terms of stabilizing that region and ensuring that the peace that has been cemented in this deal is long-lasting?
Look, we have to go backward a little bit, and we have to get, the context of TPLF and the region, the Horn of Africa. The geopolitics is very, it's very, there is turmoil. So we have to know, the historical background of what happened and what is the way forward. Look, TPLF, they didn't start, the war in 2020 as people they might think, It goes back all the way to 1935. And that is which we have to know. It's not immediately after the fall of the king and so on. And the second point is they were a ruling party for 27 years. That is the most important thing people they have to know. And while they were ruling, they were judging, the ethnic groups or the ethnic fighters, in that country. And they were fighting with Eritrea, with Somalia. Actually, there was peace with Sudan. That is which we have to underline. The second thing is the power dynamics within the party. What now they changed their name is Prosperity Party.
Right.
Before that, what they called it. It was EPRDF, Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front.
But Dr. Kidane, while I appreciate the historical context, I think it's crucial that we get to the point of what sort of concrete steps need to be taken beyond this deal to ensure that peace in that region is long-standing.
But, one of the variables which I mentioned is the constitutional void. Which we have to underline that because there is no African country or even in the world which is led by a constitution that gives cessation immediately, even at the time of the emergency, which you can't promote, as a ruling party or as a citizen, cessation to happen at any given time. Also, the language and ethnic configuration of the regions. That should be revised. Otherwise, there will be some sort of conflict somewhere, somehow. That is my opinion. So, constitution is the cornerstone which you have to look and revise it. And the other thing is, peace and reconciliation. There is a type of effort on the government side. They established, a commission. But still they are working, I think work in progress.
Right.
But so all parties should be included. Apart from this peace deal, the TPLF, OLF, other, fighting functions, they have to come to the board and they have to discuss, the fate of the nation. That is what I'm thinking is the most relevant.
Right.
And in addition to that,
Dr. Kidane, unfortunately, we've run out of time, and I so appreciate the insights that you've shared, but one does get the sense that this deal, while it's a very important one, is still leaving us in a very tenuous position when it comes to the conflict in that region. But that was Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of Pan-African Thought and Conversation at the University of Johannesburg, Dr. Seife Tadelle, helping us there to unpack the deal and at least cast our eyes forward onto what the next step is.